Including with us today to close out our event is Luciana. Luciana, take it away.
Okay, today I'm going to talk about restored hope, and I'm going to share how my hope was rescued through caregiving. I'm a registered occupational therapist, licensed in the state of Illinois. I am a certified senior advisor. I am a family caregiver to my mom, who is 87, who has physical disabilities. She requires 24-hour care at home. I am also a student in the Certified Caregiver Consulting program. Today, I'm going to share my story and how I lost myself through caregiving, through exhaustion and burnout. I'm going to share simple strategies and steps that I took to help to rescue my hope back. As a child growing up, I never read a book about caregiving. No one never showed me how to care for anyone. I was just born with a heart that loved and loved to help people. As I got older, I was always called on all the time. I was the first person to always be called on to help others. I will always run errands and share do responsibilities, and I'm sorry, hold on one second. Okay. So I will provide errands and responsibilities and take on burdens for other people. I was also known, my family would call me Superwoman because I was always the one that was strong. I was always the one that would take care of any assignment that was given to me, and I carried that badge with pride. So Sorry, okay. As I became an older adult, I had a full-time job and life full responsibilities. I never said no. I was always the go-to person. When my uncle had no one, I became his power of attorney. When he died, as I stated before, I was currently my mom's primary caregiver. I'm the youngest of my family, but I was always called in to make the hard decisions, and I always showed up when others couldn't. Everything felt like purpose until slowly things began to tumble down. So I have a question I just wanted to ask you. Who is one person that you can call on? Who is the person that it could be a family or a friend? Who is the person that you can depend on? Who that you know if you call right now, they will say yes and they will help you with any need that you have. Put it in the chat. It could be a family or a friend. Let's see. Okay, that's why I'm here. I want to help anyone going through the same. Yes. Is there anyone that you can depend on that any need that you have? Let's see. Your husband, okay, sister-in-law. So you have that one person that you can just call any time and you know that they will be there for you. So the weight of my yes, what began as pure love quietly shifted into something else. The inability to say no, the fear of letting go, letting people down, the belief that it was my responsibility to save everyone. I began to carry everyone emotional weight, and even including carrying my own weight, I began to slowly drown. I was the one who rescued everyone, but when I looked up, there was no one to rescue me. I found myself overcommitting myself to people, saying yes to every request, feeling guilty, not wanting to disappoint people. I didn't want to seem selfish for not helping them, feeling I felt responsible for trying to keep everyone happy. I was the one person to handle everyone's problems and carry everyone emotional stress. I kept a lot of emotions within and did not share it with anyone. As Denise was saying, I believe it was Denise or Susan, sometimes we can hold in our emotions and not share it. And because I was the one that was always the strong person, I was always the one that people looked up to. I never wanted to put my burdens on anyone. I always felt like I was the one to help people and help to solve their problems. So a lot of things I kept within. And I was just the mediator or the fixator. Everyone would just come to me with any problems or any concerns. And I found myself pouring into people and people wasn't pouring back into me. I began to help people that was draining my energy. They was taking my kindness for weakness and they didn't value me. So that was a hard pill to swallow, but it was a lot for me to learn. I was taking on unnecessary responsibilities and tasks and running errands for family, neighbors, and friends, helping people just because, not due to a true need, because she's the person that would do it. If I would ask her, call on her, she would do it. Not because I can't do it, it's because I know she would do it. Okay, I was feeling obligated to step in when it was not my assignment. So I have another question. What are some people and situations and responsibilities that are draining you that you later realize that it's not your assignment? So have you ever realized that someone was not your assignment or responsibility is or a situation you were in or a person that you found out that was draining and you looked up and you maybe waste your time or let's see here, past friends, brothers. Okay.
I just want to mention Mackenzie, I love that you said past friends, your former friends. Yeah, that's awesome.
Sometimes we have to get there, and it's sometimes we have to look deep within ourselves to find out those areas that we need to improve in our life. And like Denise was saying, you have to know that you are loved and not look for someone somewhere else, which is really important. Okay. Okay. So I found myself overwhelmed. Behind my smile, I was emotionally exhausted. I was falling apart on the inside. I never asked anyone for help. I never let anyone see me struggle. I just kept everything buried on the inside. I started to have a lack of energy before my feet hit the floor through the day. My mind will always be racing. I will replay every problem, task, and responsibility in my head. By the time it was time to do anything, I was extremely exhausted. And it began to weigh on my self care. The things that I was carrying on the inside, it began to show up on the outside. I was becoming restless at night, couldn't sleep. I was beginning to take on poor eating habits. I began to gain weight. I began to get dark circles under my eyes that even the makeup couldn't cover. I began to feel a loss of hope, joy, and peace within my soul. I was showing up in my caregiving experience with no hope, no joy. Um, I was just showing up just to get through the day. I was completely lost. I was empty, and I was really in a dark place. Until one day, hope arrived. In a season of despair, I began to search the internet, and then this is how I came into contact with the Certified Caregiver Consulting Program. I thought I was signing up to help caregivers, but I was really signing up to find myself. And through this program, it helped me to unpack my emotions that were buried deep within. I began to identify areas in my life that needed healing, and I began to do the self work. One thing I realized is that I had to be honest with myself, and there are so many strategies and things you can do, but you have to know what is tailored to your problem, your need. And one thing I had to do was to let go and to forgive. I had to release people that drained my energy and took without giving back. I had to set boundaries and learn to say no. I had to let go of false expectations of people and forgive those who took my kindness for weakness. I began to declutter my time, release extra errands, favors, and draining commitments. I decluttered my relationships and let go of what no longer served me. I began to reach out to community resources because I wanted to take my life back. I just felt like I was in this dark place, couldn't give myself. So I began to reach out and to respite care, where they provided me a few hours a week where I can just simply do whatever I wanted to do. I was able, and I took the time to go to church on the weekday. I began to learn how to give up my control and trust others, even in my family, and began to delegate responsibilities to my siblings for the care of my mom. No longer was I the one who took charge. I learned to share responsibilities. Little by little, my purpose began to come back into focus. I began to pour back into myself. I found a friend that I was able to vent to express my innermost feelings without them judging me. Instead of me stressing, I began to take walks. I began to stretch, attend church on a weekly basis. And not only that, but I was getting up in the morning, um, getting into devotion, getting into prayer, reading my Bible, and also listening to inspirational music, which started my healing process. I began to journal my emotions, putting my racing thoughts on paper instead of carrying them in my head. I replaced emotional eating with making healthy food choices. The weight began to lift and my mental clarity began to return. And I began to start living a purposeful life, just little by little. So I want to ask you, what are some boundaries that you had to put into place to protect your energy? Let's see.
Yeah, that's such a great question. What are the boundaries that allow you to pour into yourself?
Okay, decluttering relationships and time, love. Did anyone help you do these things, like help identify how when support you through this? Well, I knew I had a problem within myself, but I couldn't put my finger on it. When I took this program really helped me to unpack a lot of things that I was going through. Like I said, I was thinking that I was going to be helping, counseling, consulting with caregivers, and I found myself inside the material. And when I began to read the material, I'm like, wow, this is what I'm going through. This is what I'm feeling. And it just put a label to what I was going through. And sometimes I would weep, I would cry, because at first I couldn't cry. I would numb myself to protect myself due to pain. And so when I began to identify the areas that I needed healing, I had to be honest with myself instead of pushing it away. And when I began to identify the areas that I need healing, that's when the process started. But it was through this program, and I would tell Denise, it's through this program that really helped me through and to get me back on track and to put myself first because I was putting everyone else before me. And so that's how I got my life back on track.
You
You
know what
want to
I
say
also,
something, Denise?
yeah, I think it's interesting, Luciana, how you were really honest with us when you said during our training, I don't cry. And then you started crying. And I think what's interesting is the question that you asked us, which was really great, which is what's the boundary that will help you with healing? And I wonder if one boundary we hold without realizing it is, I don't cry. And that's
Mhm.
an unhealthy boundary. And what if the healthier boundary is, I cry because I have so many reasons for the tears, and the tears help me heal. And I think it's so interesting, Luciana, that you settle on this really insightful idea, which is others taking your kindness for weakness, which then became, I am strong, so I don't cry. And I
Mhm.
think what you learned is, I'm strong because I cry.
Mhm. Do anyone have any more questions? You are
And
a beautiful human being. Thank you.
you know what else I think is interesting, Luciana, is you lost hope and you lost faith. And part of
Yes.
what helped you reconnect to hope was to reconnect to your faith.
I remember Denise, when I first started, I would sit on the couch all day, every day. And I would just sit and worry in my head all day. And I would be so tired. I wasn't productive. I couldn't do anything because my worry was here. And so that was taking up so much energy. And I would sit on the couch all day and that would be my spot. And now I pass that couch and it's the past. So little by little, step by step, I was able to find myself. I did my homework. I was honest with myself because sometimes we can be in denial. But like I said, I knew it was something that was going on within. I just couldn't put my finger on it. So, so if you are a caregiver that are going through a similar crisis, I just want to say in closing, setting boundaries and letting go is not weakness, it is freedom. You deserve rest, joy, and a life you truly enjoy. Asking for help is not failure, it is wisdom. Your assignment matters, but so do you. If you found my, if I found my way back, I believe you can too. Your hope is not gone. It is simply waiting to be restored. And so this was my journey through caregiving. And so I feel like I can help other caregivers because I first helped myself. I was the first example. And so this is what inspired me because I wasn't looking for help. I was looking to help someone else. And I really found myself in this program. So I am very thankful to Denise and, the program she created because, and the help of God. I can't leave him out because without him, you know, I know he was the one who guided me through this direction. So I just want to thank you all for attending my presentation today. Part of my certification of completion, I am offering a complimentary one-on-one session for anyone that is interested through Zoom, through the telephone. If you want to vent, if you just want some resources and help and guidance through your caregiver journey, I am here for you. You can reach me at my email here. So feel free to schedule a free session with me. Have a great day.
You know what else I want to say, Luciana,
Mhm.
is because when the opportunity presented you to be different, guess what else changed for you? So now you're a presenter. So now you're a consultant working with family caregivers. And when you talk about the couch, we talk about this in our training that sometimes you feel like I'm so overwhelmed by my life. I'm going to just sit on my couch. And our life isn't on our couch. So what's interesting, Luciana, is you got up off the couch and helped yourself. You
Mhm.
helped yourself. You could have just walked past any insights that you gained from connecting with me. You could have said, that's not for me. But what you decided to say instead was, what could I learn from this? How does this apply to me? And then in your challenge to really find hope and faith again, you changed who you are in your life.
And I was able to cry and I was able to release. And that was something I could not do. I couldn't understand it. But I needed to talk about it. I needed to vent to someone. And so when I did that, I was able to release myself from all the emotions that I was burying on the inside. And so that was one way I was able to break through. And I felt the weights literally lift up off me. And I told Denise, I just feel so much lighter. I feel my mind has so much clarity. And so sometimes that's all we need is to have someone to talk to, not to have an answer and a solution to every problem, but just to listen to what a person is going through. And sometimes it's just to be quiet and just let them release, because sometimes we can break a person from pouring their heart out. When we have an answer, we have a solution, we might feel like we're correcting them or giving them an answer. And sometimes they're shut down because they say, well, I feel like I'm wrong or I can't express myself. And then they hold in and then they don't share with anyone. And so they'll go to someone else to find, to be able to, for someone to be able to listen to them without judgment. And so that's what we provide here. And that's what I got my session here. One of my colleagues provided a session for me. And I mean, I began to vent to her. And I mean, I never shared my problems with anyone, not my family, friends. And when I got off that phone with her, I mean, I just let it all out. I just let it all out. I don't even think she said anything for 30 minutes. I was just talking and running my mouth and just expressing how, and it just felt good to have someone to be able to listen to me and to be able to hear how I felt. And I mean, when I got off the phone, I felt like a new person. I felt like I can run, I can hop, I can jump. So sometimes that's what people need is someone to talk to and
Yeah.
not have that answer or feel like you have to interject to tell them, well, do you do this, you do that. And sometimes they don't need that. They just need someone to listen.
And so in closing, Luciana, I think it's so interesting you talked about how everyone thought of you as a superwoman. And now you describe you can run, you can jump, you can fly. You are your own superwoman. How fabulous is that? How fabulous is that? Thank you, Luciana. That was great. I also want to mention Luciana was a little intimidated by technology, and she used her local library for support and resources. So in many ways, Luciana built out her support, not only within her family, within her friends, but in her community, including bringing her library in. And she has a good friend now at the library that helps her with anything related to technology, which is awesome. And she's going to take a
And
class too through the
yes, and
library.
I'm taking a class, so I'm so excited because when I first went, I'm like, I don't know how to do this. What do I do? And this young man, he was sent by God and he helped me along the way with all of this setup. I was completely lost. I said, Denise, I have to go to the library because I don't know how to put this together. And so now I'm doing much better and I'm actually they're providing the class. So I will be learning how to present more and to set up everything. So I'm excited about this. This is all new to me, but I'm willing to take on the challenge. So
And the courage of showing up. Thank you, Luciana.
thank
This was a
you.
perfect closure to our day together. Thanks everybody for being here. If you're here live, hold on just for a few more minutes. I'll make sure that you all have the evaluation for the CEUs. If you're watching our archive, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to share your own comments because we'd love to connect with you in the comment section. Okay, thanks everybody.